down, roll up our sleeves, and actually deal something on infrastructure in this country. Perhaps they'd like to do something on educational opportunity. We know that even Paul Ryan has said he agrees that we should expand the earned income tax credit for childless adults. So how about actually doing some work? I go to work, you go to work, the congressman goes to work. How about actually stopping with this ridiculous upside-down name-calling, getting together and trying to deal with the challenges the nation faces?
And dealing with those challenges, Congressman, is actually, for what the president is proposing,
right,
something the American people want. When you look at the items on the president's budget, 51% support his call for free community college. 66% back his paid sick leave proposal. 58% support the idea of closing tax loopholes on high earners and giving credits to middle-income families. 73% support taxing corporate profits kept overseas. Congressman Fattah, are Republicans worried that they're losing the public debate on fairness to the president?
Well, it's obvious because, you know, the president laid out a $478 million proposal to improve our roads and our bridges, our ports, our airports today. The Republicans have been talking about this, but now they have to come and react to that proposal. And on the president's point is he's made a budget that the numbers work out. You know, he says, look, we want to tax corporate profits made by American corporations, that those profits are held offshore. Let's deal with that so that we can fund some of these important programs that we need funded in our country. The president's not running for election anymore. He's running to strengthen the American economy, and he's done a darn good job so far. And it would be great if we could get some of our Republican friends, rather than try to tackle their own quarterback, to actually work with the president, because we're competing with our economic competitors abroad. It's really not about Democrat and Republican.
Now, Jared, you talked about the ways that some of the Republicans may work along with some things. You've even written about it. And you highlighted infrastructure investment, raising budget caps, expanding earned income tax credit, and upward mobility project and anti-poverty program. How optimistic are you, Jared, that Republicans will, in fact, come to the table and try to work around it, maybe some of these issues?
Well, I would actually put the odds on the first two that you mentioned at somewhere perhaps above 50%, and I'll tell you why. I'm talking about infrastructure and raising these spending caps, otherwise known as sequestration. You know, we always have to have an obscure word here in Washington for everything. On infrastructure, at the end of May, the congressman knows this, the Highway Trust Fund goes bust. And so we're going to have to come up with some way to prevent that from happening, so that we don't have to put a stop to programs that are actively in place repairing our transportation infrastructure. Secondly, when it comes to raising these budget caps, both sides are chafing at the bit. Whether it's on the defense side of the appropriations, many Republicans don't want to see that spending cap bind, or whether it's on the non-defense side, where you're talking about health and education, investment in research and science and infrastructure, nutrition. Obviously, many people on the Democratic side want to see those caps go up. They've done it before. There was actually a bipartisan budget plan. Paul Ryan and Patty Murray did it. Yeah. I believe they may go back to that again.
All right, but Congressman Fattah, I mean, when you're dealing, before we were hearing cut, austerity plans, it's a different economy now. Do you think there can be a deal made? Do you think there can be some coming together with what the president is proposing?
There will be a deal, Reverend, but let me say this. What the Republicans want to do is lie to, not tell the truth to their constituency, to their base. The president's not a big spender. He's never spent $1 that the Congress didn't appropriate. That's number one. Number two, we're going to come to an agreement around appropriations because it has to be done. Exactly. Now, we'll go through the shouting, we'll go through the back and forth, but at the end of the year, there's going to be an agreement about how to move our country forward. And the Republicans are not getting everything they want. The president won't get everything he asked for today, but we'll have a meeting of the minds. We need to make sure that working people and those struggling to get into the middle class are not left out.
Well, I guess the devil is in the details.
It is.
If you say the meeting of the minds, I just hope as it comes together, it provides jobs and some basics for the poorest and the middle class Americans that have so far not got the right growth in terms of this recovery. Congressman Chaka, Fattah, and Jared Bernstein, thank you both for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Coming up, Governor Chris.